Hi there. Nice to finally meet you in person. My name is Andrew, and I'll be your personal tour guide for the trip. We're going to see a lot of beautiful sights once we're up in the air. I'm ready to get started whenever you are.
Here we go. As soon as we're in the air, I'll guide you to some of the best locations in the park. Grand Cayon Airport is often used for military training due to its 9,000-foot runway. If you look below you, you'll see the town of Tucson, the gateway to Grand Canyon National Park. Now that we're in a cruise, we should make our way to the canyon edge. Just follow the waypoints like we planned. Grand Canyon National Park encompasses an area of 1,900 square miles, or 3,057 kilometers, and is nearly the size of the state of Rhode Island. Awestruck by the area's stark beauty during a visit in 1903, President Theodore Roosevelt designated the region a national monument in 1908, followed by Congress and President Woodrow Wilson establishing it as a national park in 1919. In 1979, the United Nations officially designated Grand Canyon National Park as a World Heritage Site due to its unique beauty and physical record of the planet's history. Many consider it to be one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. We will be flying over the South Rim. This is a favorite sensation on the tour as we fly over the edge. Our altitude will increase by 4,500 feet above the ground, so take a deep breath as we enter the truly grandest canyon on Earth. Welcome to the Grand Canyon. Down below, you will notice one of the longest rivers on the American continent, the Colorado River. The Colorado River originates from La Poudre Pass, east of the Never Summer Mountains in the Colorado Rockies, about 60 miles northwest of Denver. After the United States annexed the Colorado River Basin in 1846, the river course remained largely unknown. The precise locations of its headwaters and delta became subjects of myths and speculation. Several expeditions chartered the Colorado River in the mid-19th century, one of which was the first to run the rapids of the Grand Canyon, led by Civil War hero John Wesley Powell in 1869. The view is stunning, isn't it? I never get tired of seeing the canyon from up here. Hermit Rapids is one of a series of rapids found along the Colorado River, usually where a creek or stream meets the river's flow. Hermit Rapids has possibly the strongest flows and biggest waves in the canyon, and can be found at the terminus of Hermit Trail, named after Louis D. Boucher, the Hermit of Hermit Creek Basin. Most of Hermit Trail was originally surfaced with large, hand-fitted rock slabs that created a smooth walking surface. Ongoing erosion has claimed much of this remarkably labor-intensive paving, but a few isolated fragments survive. Paleontologists have discovered fossilized animal tracks throughout the Grand Canyon, but they were first studied in detail along the Hermit Trail. Now we'll make a turn to follow Crystal Creek up into an area called the Hindu Amphitheater in the Dragon Corridor. Crystal Creek, named for its clear water, enters on the north side of the Colorado River at this location, while Slate Creek enters the river from the south. It is one of only a few places within the Grand Canyon where tube-side canyons converge at the same point on the river. This type of natural setting tends to create some of the most technically difficult rapids for river runners, and Crystal is no exception. If you have some extra time, we can head over to the Twin Buttes, and I'll tell you about Confucius Temple and Mencius Temple. If not, let's continue on to Dragon Head. As we travel towards the Hindu Amphitheater and Dragon Head along Crystal Creek, we can see some of the oldest exposed rocks on the planet. This rock, dated to be 1.75 billion years old, is named the Vishnu Schist after the Hindu god of preservation. Over 2 billion years of our Earth's geologic history are exposed in these layers of rock, with 12 distinct layers in total. The top 11 are sediments deposited by shallow seas that once covered this area and then receded at least 7 times during the Earth's ongoing transformation. For example, the light brown or buff-colored formation just below the rim was once desert. This is the Coconino sandstone layer, which transformed into fossilized sand dunes. American geologist Clarence Dutton named several prominent features in the Grand Canyon after mythological deities and philosophers during 19th century exploration and mapping expeditions. The Twin Buttes are named after Confucius, the famous Chinese philosopher, and Mencius, often described as the second sage to reflect his traditional esteem relative to Confucius himself. prominent ridge ahead of us, starting at the north and extending south into the canyon, is called the Dragon. While the exact source of its name remains a mystery, evidence points to early frontier explorers who found its heavily eroded form to be evocative of mythical creatures. The ridgeline defines two canyon watersheds, Dragon Creek to the east of the Dragon and Crystal Creek to the west. Dragon Head serves as the ridgeline terminus and tops off at 7,750 feet. Temple is one of the Grand Canyon's most recognizable features. Henry Gannett, a geographer working for Clarence Dutton, named the feature after the founder of Buddhism, following the naming spirit established by Dutton. The butte has a distinctive form, composed of Kaibab limestone caprock, atop cliffs of cream-colored Permian Coconino sandstone. The sandstone, which is the third youngest of the strata in the Grand Canyon, was deposited 265 million years ago as sand dunes. Beyond, you can see Bright Angel Canyon. Measuring 18 miles wide, this is the widest portion of the Grand Canyon. Just ahead is the North Rim. Here the canyon's walls are about 1,300 feet higher than the South Rim, where we departed from, resulting in a cooler, wetter climate on this side of the canyon. The snowfall averages 18 feet each year, which is more than double the amount the South Rim receives. Welcome to the North Rim, part of the Kaibab Plateau. Named by the Southern Paiute people, Kaibab means the mountain which is lying down. The beautiful stands of trees which grace this plateau include ponderosa pine, Douglas fir, aspen, blue spruce, and mountain mahogany. A popular destination on the North Rim has been the historic Grand Canyon Lodge, along with the nearby Grand Canyon Inn and campground. The main building of the Grand Canyon Lodge has been destroyed twice by fire. First in September 1932 from a fire that started in the kitchen, and again in July 2025 due to the Dragon Bravo fire. history of the Grand Canyon dates back at least 12,000 years, as evidenced by the 2,500 archaeological sites discovered here. Researchers have traced the evidence of habitation in the area primarily to ancestral Puebloans, who archaeologists believe first occupied the area in 500 BCE. The ancestral Puebloans were prolific makers of baskets, pottery, tools, and weapons, and constructed their dwellings into canyon walls and overhangs using stones and available timber. They developed primitive irrigation techniques and cultivated several crops, including corn, squash, and beans. Today, several groups trace their lineage to the ancient ancestral Puebloans, including the Hopi of Arizona and the Acoma and Zuni of New Mexico. Imperial, formerly known as Skidoo Point, is one of the most popular destinations on the North Rim and a fitting end to our journey. Located at the northern boundary of Grand Canyon National Park at just over 8,800 feet in elevation, Point Imperial offers one of the best vantages in the entire park. Stunning views abound in every direction from Point Imperial. To the north and northeast, Marble Canyon dramatically opens to the Grand Canyon. Looking eastward, we can see the junction of the Colorado River and Little Colorado River, and beyond that, the Painted Desert located on the Navajo Reservation. As we've seen on our tour, vistas of the Grand Canyon open to the south, and the west offers views of Saddle Mountain, Boundary Ridge, and the Kaibab Plateau. And that brings us to the end of our tour. I hope you enjoyed the journey and learned a few things about this beautiful place. Feel free to keep exploring the area if there's something that catches your eye. I have no better place to be than up in the skies.